Hey, what's up, guys? This is Jay from Revolution Radio, and I want to talk about DFS Week 4. I know I'm bringing this one in late, but look, we're all the same, right? And I know you guys are still looking for those last minute tips, hints, anything like that. So hopefully you'll get it in the next 12 hours before the games start. Just been a crazy busy week, so it took a while to get this one out. Um, Look, I'll just get going. Start with quarterbacks. Um, There's a few that are just like chalk, complete chalk. Everyone's owning them. One is Daniel Jones, and I don't hate that at all. Um, of course, I'm going to run him in one or two of my lineups. Um, I took the time to get an image of him and put it up for all of you who's watching the video, which I don't get the whole watching a video. I got a lot of complaints about, hey, there's no video. Yeah, well, some of us don't need that, but whatever, whatever. I'll appease you. Uh, Daniel Jones is definitely he's chalk. Vegas has the Giants Redskins game as potentially the one of the highest scoring games. I wouldn't put everything into him, but whatever. Don't take my word as gospel. The other one is my man, my boy coming from Seattle, Russell Wilson, who Russell Wilson has quietly been dominating this year. Um, Pleased to say that many people are starting to just respect how good this man is. And this year he has been doing fantastic. He has a lot of he has like he's the second or third in touchdowns, zero interceptions, and he's been running the ball quite a bit more. He just killed it last week. Uh, Here's my thing. I'm a Seahawks fan. I know the Seahawks. We never have good games in Arizona. And I know there is so much talk. Oh, it's going to be a back and forth game. It's going to be an offensive battle. I don't know. Every one of these games, it's been a kicker's battle that I've seen over the years. I'm not saying that's going to happen this time. I questioned last week. They said New Orleans defense was one of the worst defenses to own. I was like, man, I don't know about that. I mean, I like my Hawks, but and I was wrong. They were right. So I'm not going to say for sure not to play either one of those guys. Just history has taught me that. Of course, Pat Mahomes, the GOAT. I know I'm going to get hate for that. Tell me a quarterback who's playing that position better right now. Right now, there's none better than Patrick Mahomes. He's obviously going to be. He's going to earn his points, but he's going to cost you a lot in salary. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. The other quarterback that I have really targeted is Philip Rivers, because why not? I mean, he's playing against Miami. It really does get to be just, um, yeah. There's an there's an act called corpse effing, and that is pretty much what every team does to Miami now. And Philip Rivers will be the next one to do that. So any one of those quarterbacks, I'm just giving you some of the insight that I know about on why you should or shouldn't play these guys. And I will be 100% honest. All of these guys I have in at least one lineup. All right, down to running backs, which is very interesting this week. Uh, you want to spend up for Christian McCaffrey? Go ahead. He's worth it. He's going to do a lot with him. Um, the two that that are very questionable is Austin Eckler and Melvin Gordon. The last report that I read just about a couple hours ago was that Melvin Gordon was going to get the touches that Justin Jackson is supposed to get. So more like second string running back work. Now, okay, but look at what Tony Pollard put on Miami. Now think about Melvin Gordon putting in that role. So he may not be a bad grab either with Eckler. And I'll tell you this: one of my biggest wins last year, I did the thing no fantasy guy should ever do. I played Eckler and Gordon, and they both scored huge for me. Oh, I'd say either one. Honestly, you're not going to be in a bad place. Uh, Both good options. Another big one everyone's riding on is David Johnson. Seattle is just not good at stopping running backs. Um, Alvin Kamara proved that last week. The couple others that I have kind of locked in on that I'm looking at. One is Derrick Henry, and I know it's not a sexy game, it's not a big game people are talking about, but Atlanta stinks against running backs. One of the worst teams. Derrick Henry, pretty much the only thing Tennessee has. So not a bad play. I like a bigger play at 6,100 with Marlon Mack against Oakland. Oakland, another team, they're leaky as a sieve when it comes to running backs. And Marlon Mack, he leads the leagues in attempts. So you know he's going to be getting his touches. 6,100, not bad at all. And you can go further down. Uh, I like the man from Detroit by the name of Kerryon Johnson. He has been getting back into the game quite a bit. Had a really slow start this year, but really turning it around. And Kansas City, um, it would. I don't know. I guess if really they need Donald Trump to build a wall on their front line because everything is getting through against them. They're horrible against running backs. Kerryon Johnson, not a bad play at 5,400. I also don't mind Philip Lindsay, by the way. I know it's a weird one, and he has not been that great, but it, just something to throw out there at 5,200. But then, of course, the guy everyone is going to have is Wayne Gallman. Yeah, I can't even say his name. And it's probably the only time I'll talk about him until Saquon gets back. But he's the Giants uh, running back. He's 4,600. He's going to be out on the field quite a bit. They're putting him in that starting position. You can get a starting running back for 4,600 against Washington. It's pretty good. A couple other guys who I just think about. Rex Burkhead. Apparently, there's some issues in New England with their running backs. A lot of people are talking about Rex Burkhead getting more action. I don't know. I'm not sure if I believe that. Frank Gore would be another one that I would think about. I know here against the Patriots, that's probably not a smart move, and it's probably not. I would not go with my advice, but just if you're feeling, gutsy out there and you really want to stick it to the Patriots and have a good reason just to root for another team or for a team against the Patriots, that might be a route to go. And of course, so a couple other guys, CJ Prosize. Yeah, CJ Prosize I think is probably the best Seahawk. I don't know. Chris Carson, again, Seahawk fan. So this is going to be a big game. Chris Carson's healthy. He's fine. He's just had a lot of fumbling problems. I think he'll overcome these problems. Watching the games where he fumbled, there were certain conditions going on. One of them, he got hit just as soon as he got the ball. And the other two, it was raining pretty bad. But I, I don't know. If he does it again, you willing to, you know, spend money that you don't have, especially when you can get some really cheap running backs who are going to perform this week. It's not a dumb play to play Carson, but you might look at Precise. And Penny may or may not be back. That's what that pause was as I was looking to see what Penny's status was. But whatever. Not a bad play on either one. Precise, I don't know. He's not going to be making that many points, but when he does get in there, Wilson does like to go to him quite a bit. Um, on that note, wide receivers. The king of all receivers this year, Keenan Allen. He's going to be playing against those horrendous Miami Dolphins. Yeah, I mean that's obviously you got to have him somewhere in one of your lineups. A couple other guys, Cooper Kupp, 6,500. It's cheap for a guy who's just kind of been slowly been Goff's favorite receiver. We saw what it was last year. We're seeing it this year. I was going to actually find a picture of Cooper Kupp without his helmet on, put in his little slideshow. But I found out he looks like a giant tool without his helmet on. So keep that helmet on. Sorry, Rams fans. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Um, the other one who's going to be big is Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett has been on point this year. And I know, I'm a Seahawks fan. But trust me, my if you've watched the last 3 videos, 4, 5 videos, whenever Seattle's been involved, I haven't talked about him hardly at all. So it is kind of nice to be able to brag on my boys a little bit. But Tyler Lockett's a pretty good option. A lot of people are going to pick him up. He's had a great year. Um, he's definitely Seattle's number one. A couple others, Josh Gordon isn't bad at 5,900. But at 5,900, I really like Kenny Galladay. I like receivers, quarterbacks who are facing the Chiefs because they're always playing from behind and they're going to have to make those points up. By the way, if I didn't mention Matt Stafford on quarterbacks, which I'm just realizing I don't think I did, he's one that I definitely have in the lineup. And so you can use that kind of stack right there with Stafford and Galladay. Um, Another good one off that game that a lot of people are talking about, the Giants and the Redskins. It's weird that that's a game we target, but Sterling Shepard. Sterling Shepard's gonna have a great game. He got targeted like crazy last week, so him and Danny Dimes, they got a good rapport, so they'll be doing well. Definitely, you want him somewhere in one of your lineups. Terry McLaurin. See, this guy has completely fallen under my radar, and I do feel bad about that. The receiver, really making a lot of points and done a lot in Washington. Yeah, Terry McLaurin. Couldn't remember how you said his last name. But he's done really, really great. 4,500. I mean, they're barely acting like he's there. But he's going to be getting touches, especially if they predicted games to be as high scoring as they do. It's definitely somebody you want to put in your lineup. Philip Dorsett, also another one. He's kind of become Tom Brady's go-to guy. We know about Edelman. Edelman's not doing well. He's hurt. Josh Gordon is playing like a stud. But Philip Dorsett has really pulled into that position. It's like 4,600, not a bad pickup. DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf's a great option. I like him. He's going to do some good stuff. I'd say if you don't play Lockett, then I would play DK Metcalf. Um, the other one I would definitely go with, or think about anyway, is Mecole Hardman from Kansas City. I know everyone's on Watkins still. Watkins is the number one receiver. You kind of want to look at his way, but I'll tell you why I like Hardman more than I like Watkins or more than I like Robinson. He has more of that Tyreek Hill style, and he's fast like Tyreek Hill. So I definitely think you should go with him over any other receiver from Kansas City, but it's really hard. And I almost say don't pick a Kansas City receiver. They're like a New England running back, who I've given advice on both of them in this episode, which I typically don't, but just if you're going to go with one of them, that would be my route. And then Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald has quietly been crushing it this year. He's another guy that I would definitely get. Uh, so that brings us to tight ends. And I'm still not on Kelsey that high. I mean, look, if you want to spend up for him, he'll probably not make you like a fool, but I don't know. Part of me wonders how much Mahomes is even targeting him like he was. And I mean, really targeting him. He seemed kind of like a little bit of a safety blanket last year, but I don't think Patrick Mahomes needs that Linus blanket anymore. He doesn't need it. Um, but I'll tell you who does is Danny Dimes, and he needs Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram, he might as well be a receiver and a number one receiver at that. If you look at the pictures of this guy, he's basically a receiver. Um, Great hands, gets out, great route runner. 5,700 is a perfect option in the tight end, especially we're talking about this high scoring game. Another one is Darren Waller. He's gonna he's been doing great all year, and Indianapolis. I think they forgot tight ends exist, so they don't really cover them too much. They're one of the worst teams defending tight ends. The other really bad team defending tight ends is Cleveland. And Mark Andrews at 5,000. I know he had a bad game last week, but I expect a bounce back. I really do. I think he's gonna come back and even better. I know he's questionable. He's been questionable all year. He'll be fine and he'll be back. Uh, just in that porous Cleveland defense, he's gonna have a great game. There's a couple others that I would throw to you. Um, if you're not happy with any of those, Will Disley. He's become one of the favorite targets of Russell Wilson. So, and this is all targeting the Cardinals Seahawks game. Disley is a really good option at 3,600. He's gonna get some touches. Um, but I'll tell you the one I like a little bit more than that, honestly, is Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen has just been kind of solid. He's kind of getting back to old Greg Olsen. I know it's not going to last very long because he is old Greg Olsen, but we don't have to worry about that with DFS. And at 4,200, he is a pretty good option. Last place I'm going to go with defenses, and defenses are, I mean, obviously the Chargers would be the one to get. The rest of them, I think you're just kind of you're grasping at straws here. Um, like I don't think there's much of a difference between the Bears at 3,400 and like the Colts at 31. Even the Broncos at 29 might be the best one, honestly. Titans. It, it's hard to say what kind of game people are going to have. This week for some reason it's very difficult to pick out a defense to go with. My advice to you guys on this one is I wouldn't overspend. I don't think there's going to be much of a difference between a really good defense and a really bad defense this week. It seems like they're all pretty in the middle. I know there's going to be one team we all miss, and they're going to just get tons of picks or a lot of sacks, forced turnovers that lead, that they'll be able to score on. Uh, but predicting that one this week is just really, really difficult. Again, if I was to have to pick anyone, it would, even though I love Gardner Minshew, it would probably be the Broncos against Jacksonville. Or if I had to, maybe, mm, I don't know. Yeah, it'd probably be that one, honestly. I want to say Tennessee. I don't know why, but you just never know with Matt Ryan. You really never know. And he could have one of those just breakout games. I guess another one too, like I said, is the Colts at 31. That's not a bad option. And Oakland is really mediocre. I know the Colts do not play the tight end very well. They like throwing to the tight end. It's not a good matchup there. But everywhere else, yeah. Or the Texans. The Texans is another. That's actually a really good option at 3,100. And the Ravens as well. I don't think the Ravens will let us down. I think they'll do pretty well. But as far as some of the higher up ones, or if you just really really want to score points, then obviously go for Los Angeles. The Chargers are going to do well, way better. Anyway, I'm curious about your guys' lineups. Anything I say help? From last week, the week before, we did really really good this last Thursday. So, which yeah, there's another Thursday night game that ended up number one. Great game, fun to watch, but also we made some money off this one, so it was fantastic. Hopefully this week plays out just like that. I am definitely excited to be back watching these games less than 12 hours. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Really curious about your thoughts, your opinions. Let me know. Just put it in the comment section below. The YouTube channel for all of the videos is the Community of Ideas, where we are uploading a ton of videos. It's not just one thing. We got a pretty large group of people who are going to be contributing. Everything from video game, movie reviews. I do current events and politics. I know. I live the life. This is the fun stuff I get to do. I get to do the football, the fantasy aspect of it. And sometimes I want to throw in just commentating on football as well. Uh, and then we've got makeup, books. It's a whole thing that's happening on this channel. So anyway, you're gonna find I'm gonna at least drop these at least once a week. I'm gonna try to get them in earlier to you guys and do the Thursdays at least a day before, if not a little bit sooner. It's hard to do it any sooner on the Thursdays. So anyway, on Facebook, Jay Dillon, Jaydyllan, and Fantasy DFS Football. You can also find the shows there on Spotify, Google, iTunes, Apple Pod, or Google Pod. I don't know, one of those. So look up Revolution Radio or Zach Dillon, ZAKKDILLON. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Have fun tomorrow.